Hello and welcome. Today I have this idea for a very simple painting. It'll have a sky, some hills in the background, and maybe a hedgerow running over the hills, a bright coloured field, maybe yellow, and some wildflowers and grasses in the foreground. So going to have lots of variation and color in it. So it's just something I want to try out today. It'll be very simple. So all you need is some basic colors, white paint. You need a good supply of different sizes of brushes. A hairdryer is very useful for drying off the painting because I'm using paper. I'm just painting straight onto this acrylic. It's good acrylic paper, but it still can get very damp. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to anchor these down. But if you are working on if you just have got your painting flat down on a table, you don't need to anchor it down. It's only if you've got it up on an easel, because it can buckle. The paper can buckle a little bit as it gets damp, and it's just harder for me to work on it, especially when I'm making the video. So we'll get started, and I'm going to zoom in just to let you have a good look at it, and hopefully you'll be able to see the palette down below that I'm working on as well. So just making sure that that's in focus. And we'll get going on this. So I'm going to take out my big brush, and I'm going to make a very dramatic sky back here. That's quite a dramatic colour. So I may need to put more of that colour on, get it out of the tube in a few moments, but I'm just going to use what I have on my palette there just to get it started. I'm going to put in, my idea was to put in some hills. We'll start with that idea for the hills and that type of a shape. And I want to put in some, like a hedge on the hill. Like that. And then my foreground I will also darken. So that I can put some grasses and flowers over it. And then the idea is that in the center part of the painting, that's the area where the light is going to be hitting it. And I want that to be very dramatic. And just going to put some yellow out on my palette. And sometimes you'll see that, when you're out in nature, you'll see the sun just hits something, and it may be a cornfield or a field where that has just been recently ploughed, and it just hits it, and the colour just absolutely pops, and it's amazing. So that's kind of generally just a very loose idea of the layout of the painting. Now I will I'm going to let go of this brush, so I'll just wipe off any excess paint I have on it there. Use it up, because I may as well use it to get rid of the, to add an extra layer onto that paper. And I need some white paint as well, because I want to make that a dramatic sky, but not a sky, not all the one colour. And I'm going to get some more of that dark blue on my palette as well that I had initially. So taking a smaller size brush, and I'm going to use that very dark blue again for the sky, and come in with some clouds. So I'm just imagining these clouds are going in this direction. I'm going to make the sky slightly bigger than it was too. Just make it slightly, I'm just going to give it a touch of red there as well to try and add more drama into that sky. Okay, it's kind of what I want, I think. Now I'm coming down again with that hedge, and I'm going to bring it slightly lower. So that hedge, there should be parts of it kind of scraggy and sticking up, and other parts lower down. It should be uneven. Oh, there's my hedge, or my hedgerow. Using some of this to darken those clouds even more, just make it more dramatic, that sky. And we may as well bring this down, bring this corner, make this corner dramatic as well. So today I'm using this bigger brush I normally use the rigger to put in some of these grasses in the foreground, but today I'm going with this wider brush. It's covering more ground for me. So it's quite a dramatic little landscape. Now, I'm going to go back into that yellow and see. I don't want it to be all just the one shade of yellow, but I do want it to be very bright and dramatic. I want to add more interest into it there. Put in a little white there into it as well. A little bit of white into the yellow. So now it is time to use my thin brush, and, or is it? I think maybe the sky. I know I have yellow on my brush, so I'm taking a chance adding that into the sky, but sometimes it's nice to just to put a touch of yellow into the sky too. And it's fine. That yellow looks good in the sky. It's quite an interesting sky. And those yellow fields are fantastic. They really are. If I could bring up some of that, like the grasses like that, you see? Just bringing them up into the hedge. That's too much, but I can do it again. And now I'm going to come down and bring in some red into this, these little red flowers. I'm just imagining what kind of wildflowers would be growing in this field, but no, we don't want them to all just be down here. We can put some in, like it's like these red flowers grow just in the hedgerows. They don't grow in the middle of the yellow field of grass, but they're growing in the hedgerow, in the darker parts. So we can put them in here into the hedgerow, and they deepen the hedgerow as well. We could have the odd one here and there in the field. So I'm just kind of making other little wildflowers, like random type of branchy hogweed or whatever grasses. Painting them in here and there. So it's quite a simple little painting, very straightforward. Just bands of diagonal colour really, and a few little, sometimes I dip my finger in that and use the print. I use my finger as a printer and just repeat the pattern. And add some of this little yellow flowers down here as well. Grasses. Tiny bit into the foreground down there. Maybe smudge it a bit. So a very quick little painting of a summer field, and we just come in a little bit and just let you see a little of the detail there on that painting. So that's it from me today. I hope you enjoyed it, and do subscribe and share if you like this painting. And I will be back with you again next week, so please join me then. In the meantime, God bless, have a great week, and happy painting. Bye-bye.